Good evening. Well, even though it doesn't quite look like evening, it's feedback on the road tonight. Here with Stat MedEvac at the Clarion Hospital. Stay with us. Feedback starts now. That's right. Good evening to you. I'm Mark Despotakis. Thank you for joining us tonight on Feedback. Even though it kind of looks like, it's a sunny afternoon here, this is one of these shows we've taped in advance, as sometimes we always do. We are out here at the Clarion Hospital, actually right behind the Clarion Hospital. Today we're taking a tour of this place, Stat MedEvac, and this specific place, this helicopter. Stay with us. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to take a look at actually what goes on inside of this piece of machinery. Stay with us. Feedback continues after the break. This portion of the program was made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954.
Hey, kid, boyfriend wants to know if that girl will go out with him. Pass it down.
Hey, Grandma, ask the girl on the end if she wants to go out with this loner.
The young man wants to know if the girl over there is a donor.
Somebody wants to know if you're an organ and tissue donor.
Yes.
Hey, me too.
Are you a donor? Make sure your family knows your decision so there's no question later.
Feedback starts now. And I said, wouldn't a better name for a movie to come out now? And I think I'm going to make the movie or write the book. It would be a great book to have. And you can call to get her book. You can also find it online. Well, I have a feeling I'm going to be rather opinionated. People I know so. Let's ask them about scheduling. Why is it that students have such a problem here with?
Tune into Feedback with Mark Despotakis every Tuesday and Wednesday night beginning at 7:30 p.m.
We're totally out of time. No time to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant. The Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant is located at 540 Main Street in Clarion and offers dining as well as a nightclub. The restaurant and nightclub are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Call the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant 226-8400.
Welcome back to Feedback. It's a very fun day for us here. We are here. It doesn't look like my normal set. As you can tell, we are here inside the Stat MedEvac helicopter out at the Clarion Hospital. Something I've certainly always wanted to do, see the inside of one of these, and here we are. And let me tell you, it's a whole lot smaller than I thought. We're joined by Larry and Kelly here from Stat MedEvac at Clarion Hospital. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's start with, I'm so surprised how small this is. Kind of give me a tour of what all this is that we're seeing in here.
Well, basically what you have here is an air ambulance. We have most all the equipment that they carry on a regular ambulance, although we do have more drugs available to us and a few other things that are more advanced, more from the emergency room type setting.
So are you kind of like an advanced ambulance, we could say?
Yes, we are. That's
okay. Can we take a look around here? What is all in here? I mean, you cram a lot into a pretty small space.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually not bad once you get used to it. You don't have to get up to go anywhere. It's all within reach, though, so it's really not bad. This here is basically you have your oxygen and your suction unit, just like you have in a normal ambulance. You have your light switches and all that right here. They're all clustered together. An onboard Doppler system so we can listen to fetal heart rates and blood pressures and that in the air. That's one thing in this environment. It's real loud, and we have to wear. That's one reason why we wear the helmets is so we can hear each other. We also have headsets that we provide to patients who are awake. That way we can talk back and forth to them also. Yeah.
Huh. So what is it like doing this? I mean, this must be quite an interesting experience. I mean, generally you're seeing the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah, generally that would be true, yes.
And so what is that like for you guys? I mean, how does that affect you as someone who's seeing the worst of the worst up here?
I think I can speak for all of us. Most all of us have done this for a long time. I've been a paramedic for about 20 years now. Throughout time, you think you've seen just about everything until you start working here, and just when you think you've seen it all, something else will come along and top that, so it'll blow that theory. We typically fly a nurse, paramedic. Most of the nurses come from either the emergency rooms or the ICUs. They generally have at least 3 to 5 years of critical care experience. The paramedics, most of us have at least 5 years of field experience in a busy setting, in a busier hospital setting and that. Together, we make the team. Traffic accidents, that kind of stuff's my world. In the hospital stuff's her world. I compliment her in the hospital, and she's my compliment outside the hospital. And together, we make a pretty good team. About 80% of the flight services across the United States fly as that combination, nurse-paramedic.
So is it just the two of you normally back here then?
Yes.
That's.
Yes.
And then who else is flying with you?
There's the pilot that's flying, and then it's just us, just the two of us.
Wow. I'm fascinated by this. And then the patient is just right here in this area we're seeing. And then, I mean, do all these bags generally go along with you all the time?
Yes. Yeah, everywhere we go, they go.
And they just, where do you put them?
Well, generally we have this seat's free.
Okay.
You know, we can stack them there and belt them in there or that. We try and keep things as fastened down as we can, and otherwise they can become projectiles in the air.
How is it that when you're you're moving while you're taking care of a patient, how is it that you're able to do, like I was just looking here and I saw needles and syringes, how are you able to do something that's that delicate of work while you're flying through the air?
They're used to it. I'm from a hospital setting, so this is a whole new world for me, and it can be difficult. You're working in a very small space, and you have to adapt pretty quick.
I would imagine. Wow, that's just...
You get used to it. You know, you can do this in an ambulance. This is actually smoother than what it is in an ambulance, yeah. It's louder and you can't hear, but generally the ride's smoother.
So, how often are you guys actually going out on calls?
We probably average about 2 a day across the board.
And I mean, and where are you flying people to? You're flying people here to the Clarion Hospital? Are you taking them to hospitals in Pittsburgh?
Pretty much anywhere.
We generally go out somewhere else and take them to like Pittsburgh or your...
So you're just kind of the regional
yes.
helicopter. Wow, I'm just fascinated by everything that's up in here. You know, what does it do to you guys? As someone who, like we were saying, you do see the worst of the worst. How does that affect you and your life? I mean, to see this all the time, to see such traumatic things all the time, how does that affect you personally?
I guess it makes you appreciate life a little more.
I would imagine. I mean,
I think after you've been around it for a while, you hate to say you get cold to it, but you pretty much get used to it. You know, if you've been here long enough, it won't bother you or you won't be here.
Wow. Well, and I guess you guys, when we walked into your offices over here, I didn't realize you're on 24-hour shifts here. You pretty much, it seems like you live here. It's like a little living quarters in there. I mean,
Away from home.
I mean, it really is. There's beds in there. What is that like to kind of have another family to be living in a situation like this?
It's not too bad. We all get along really well. I mean, like you said, we're family. We're brothers and sisters and that. And you know, you leave your family at home and you come to work with your family here.
I guess we're pretty fortunate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break here. Fascinating, but I tell you what, I'm just a little too tall. I don't think I could be a paramedic or a nurse in one of these things. We're going to take a break on feedback. We'll be back right after this talking more out here at Stat MedEvac.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week for your convenience. Phone 226-5555.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Carpet Barn. The Carpet Barn is located at 470 South 5th Avenue in Clarion. The Carpet Barn is open Monday through Saturday for all your carpet needs. So call the Carpet Barn, 226-7332.
We're talking equipment now. This is not cheap to run. How much is the helicopter in general, to put this whole thing together?
It would be well over probably $3-4 million. We just bought 5 new helicopters at $3.6 million apiece. Then you add all the equipment and that to them.
Let's talk about some of this equipment here.
This monitor here is typically found in a hospital at a cost of about $18,000, and we get to bring it out here and beat on it.
And what does this do here?
It'll do, it monitors your heart. It does non-invasive blood pressures. It's capable of reading the oxygen saturation in your blood through a probe, but it also gets into evasive stuff. It'll do art lines, swan lines, ICU type stuff.
Okay. And how much again did you say that cost?
That's about $18,000.
Wow. Now, and while we're moving on to the next piece of equipment here, who actually owns and operates Stat MedEvac?
We're actually owned by the Center for Emergency Medicine out of Pittsburgh. That's owned by 5 of the big hospitals in Pittsburgh: UPMC, Children's, Mercy, West Penn, and
right now, Allegheny General has their own system.
Allegheny General has their own.
Okay. So let's move. What's this piece of equipment
here? This is a ventilator here. It's a transport ventilator. It does just about everything the big ones in the hospital would do. You can see how small and compact it is, and it's a low price of between, say, $10,000–$12,000.
Oh my gosh! Wow. And this all of your helicopters are equipped with this?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, every one of them's basically set up the same way, so if I hop from one to the other, I can reach. It should be there.
It should be there.
Yes.
What is this?
This is a transport IV pump. In the hospital they have them hanging on the poles that are always beeping. Well, this is our version of it. This will do three IVs at a time. You can see how small and compact it is, and they're about $4,000 a piece.
So this you have to use syringes, though. You don't do the tubing like you would normally see in the hospital setting.
I see.
You have to fill syringes and use for those.
So, I mean, are these things now becoming more standard? Because we're seeing these helicopters all over the country, I guess. Are you finding that this stuff is coming down in price? This stuff's becoming standard because there's so many more outlets like Stat MedEvac out there?
I don't know if it's coming down in price, but typically this is basically the equipment everyone would have.
Right.
It might not be like this model, but it's
this is
pretty much the same. Yes.
Wow. I'm just amazed by all this. Talk to me a little bit about what happens when you're in the air right before you get to where you're going to meet up with the patient on the ground. What's happening in the helicopter right before you're landing and while you're looking for the place you're landing?
Well, generally, the 3 of us were worried about flying at that time. We have 2 worlds going on here at the same time. We have the the medical world or the ambulance world, but we also have the aviation part. And right before we land, we're more worried about landing safely. So we're all looking outside for hazards, whether it's poles, wires, trees, towers, cell phone towers. Those are all things that we worry about. The big power lines that cross from one valley to the other, they're all things that scare us. We try and talk to the ground 5 minutes out or so, and we ask them the same questions. What's the LZ? What's the surface like? What's the hazards in the area? We want to get them looking for those things so they can tell us about them too.
Right. So what happens once you hit the ground then?
Well, hopefully in flight we're talking amongst each other and kind of getting a game plan down as far as we usually have some information on our patient and then what we're going to do to take care of this patient, just to care for them.
And then you hit the ground, and then are you going to the ambulance crew? You talking to them, assessing things with them?
Yes, we interact with the EMS and go from there and get our patient. And
so there's a lot more going on here than people may think. I mean, it's not just land and pick up a patient and go. I mean, it may sometimes seem like that, but you're certainly a lot of things to consider. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another break here. This is fascinating stuff here inside of the Stat MedEvac helicopter. Stay with us on Feedback.
Wardrobe for some TV5 news anchors provided by Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all, with many different styles. Fashion Bug also offers a wide selection of accessories. Fashion Bug is located in the Clarion Mall, just off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Sunday from noon till 5.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids.
Backseat, baby.
The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out.
Backseat, baby.
Put that booties in the backseat.
Backseat, baby.
That backseat kid should never be out. Here to remind you to put them behind you.
Backseat, baby.
Wow! Look at here.
Backseat, baby.
You stay alive even when I drive.
And we are back here on Feedback. We're talking to the Stat MedEvac crew today, and we're talking about, now we talked about the backside of this where all the medical stuff goes on, but this thing has to fly. That's the most important part. Jim here is a pilot with Stat MedEvac. Jim, tell us what your role is with the Stat MedEvac team when you're actually up in the air with the crew.
Okay, my job is basically to fly the aircraft, get them to either the hospital or the scene where they're picking up their patient. And that pretty much entails getting coordinates from our communication center, plugging them into our GPS, and going to that location.
How is this? This is one thing that I keep saying here all day is this is so much different from an ambulance. This is so much different from a helicopter even. I mean, there's a whole medical facility really going on down here. Is that change how your job is done? How is this different flying a medical helicopter from flying, say, a commercial helicopter for some company out there?
Time is very important for us to get on scene quickly. So versus a commercial or a corporation where they may be able to plan their flights out more, we're paged out, and a lot of times within 5 minutes we're departing, taking off.
What's your role when this lands on the scene of where you're meeting the ambulance? What is your role? Are you leaving the helicopter? Are you staying in here?
No, I'll stay with the helicopter, and what I'll be doing is preparing for the next portion of the flight, whether it be looking at fuel aspects, whether I need fuel, any hazards en route. I'll take a look at weather, forecasted weather, current weather, and
that's all going on while they're working on a patient.
Right.
All right, let's say now we pick up the patient here. We're on the way to the hospital. What are you doing once they land at the hospital? I mean, it's not just drop the patient off and leave again. What are you doing then?
Most of the time, we'll land the aircraft, and I'll either reposition to the nearest airport for fuel, so we're prepared for a flight as soon as they're back.
I see. What do you feel about doing this job? What is this like for you to be a pilot on something so important as a medical helicopter?
Oh, I enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Jim, thank you for talking with us. Your work is certainly very important, and people out there certainly thank you for what you do. We'll be back on Feedback right after this. Do you want complete coverage of local, state, national, and international news as it happens? Then tune into Clarion's very own TV5 News Live for complete coverage of the Clarion area and our world. TV5 News crews join with crews from the world's news leaders, CNN, to provide complete coverage of the day's events. With advanced satellite capabilities, TV5 News can bring you the latest news as it happens. So tune in every Tuesday and Wednesday night for Clarion's very own TV5 News Live.
Hi everybody, I'm Brandy. How would you like to give hope to millions of the world's children? UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, is saving lives in over 140 countries by providing kids with medicine, clean water, nutrition, and education. With your help, UNICEF can make a huge difference in our world. For more information, call 1-800-FOR-KIDS. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to Feedback. Look, they're going to let me take it up and fly it. No, I'm just kidding. They're not really going to do that. But this was a wonderful day. I want to thank everyone here at Stat MedEvac for letting us go up in the air with them and talk to them and find out about what they do here. Certainly something very useful. Like I always say, you see the helicopters buzzing the area every once in a while. And, you know, we don't always know what goes on inside of here, and it's a very important job. And I appreciate all of them working with us today and talking to us. Best of luck to them and their future flights. We will see you next week on Feedback. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Despotakis. Have a good night.
Clarion's very own TV5, Clarion University Broadcasting, serves as an educational tool and news resource for Clarion University and the surrounding community. Broadcasting everything from Borough Council meetings live to twice-weekly newscasts, TV5 is an institution valued by both students and the community as a whole. Students from Clarion University's Communication Department are the most involved in TV5, but students from all majors are welcome to participate. Each and every TV5 production is student-produced, directed, and hosted. There's no better training than on the job like this. TV5 News provides local news coverage as reported by Clarion University students.
Good evening, I'm Christy Herman.
And I'm Carolyn Kelly. We begin our primary 2000 coverage tonight with a look at voting locally.
Student reporters, anchors, and producers create a newscast 2 nights a week that reflects the news of the day in Clarion. Feedback.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm Mark Despotakis. Joining us in this segment is your United States Representative, John Peterson.
Is TV5's public affairs and interview program. Topics range from discussing local and national politics to how to adopt a pet from the local Humane Society. Broadcasting 2 nights a week, the show strives to inform, educate, and entertain the viewers. TV5 also broadcasts Clarion Borough Council live each month. The meeting takes place at the Clarion Free Library, and TV5 students air the program from our mobile production trailer. Sports are also a large part of the TV5 identity. Local sports, such as Clarion Area High School football and Clarion University athletics, are an integral part of our newscasts, but they are also featured during the TV5 programming day. You can catch sporting events in their entirety many times during the semester. TV5 also provides you with the latest news from Pennsylvania's state government. Broadcasting such shows as Focus on Pennsylvania and Capitol Conversations, viewers get to see what their state representatives are up to in Harrisburg. TV5 has been Clarion's very own for over 20 years and will continue to be an information source for students.
New charges surround a Clarion County prisoner. Good evening, I'm Carrie LaPue.
And I'm Cynthia Walker.
And members of the community in the new millennium.